And 1, 2. All right. Hello, everyone. I'm Lee. Happy Sabbath. Last day of unleavened bread. Falls on the Roman calendar day of 4/8/2025 this year. So, as far as I can understand, could be wrong too. Hopefully not, but it could be. So, happy Sabbath to all those keeping the last day of unleavened bread today. And what better day for a scripture study than a Sabbath day? So, already did a video on Passover and unleavened bread and all that, but I'm going to do the book of Haggai. But I would like to go one place first. I don't follow their calendar because I think their calendar is a little bit off now, but I do like how they put notes in it. So if you go good, very good notes. So they on here on the last day of unleavened bread they have waters of Marah made sweet ? Exodus 15:23 and Yaakov flees Laban, Jubilees 29:5. So let's look that up. Exodus 15:23. So that's the Song of Moses. Yeah, they've got a question mark on it. I'm not sure that is the last day of unleavened bread. It could be. Could be. Let's see, wrong one. More likely, they finished the festival and then crossed the Red Sea. From red, they went in the wilderness of Shur. Yeah, that wouldn't be the last day of unleavened bread. They should have finished the festival and then crossed the Red Sea and then come to Marah, I would think. But so Jubilees 29. Jubilees 29. 9th month. $29.5. Go back. Fourth wage. On the 21st there. Oh yeah, first month, 21st thereof. So yeah, that's going to be, yeah, the 21st day of the first month will be unleavened bread. 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah. So yeah, that would be right. So Jubilees 29:5. In the 7th year of the 4th week, Yaakov turned his face toward Gilead in the first month, on the 21st thereof, and Laban pursued after him and overtook Yaakov in the mountain of Gilead in the 3rd month, on the 13th thereof. Set his face toward Gilead, that means he started traveling toward Gilead. No? And Jacob blessed the God of Isaac, his father, and the God of Abraham, his father's father. He rose and mounted his wives and his children, and took all his possession across the river, and came to Gilead. Jacob hid his intention from Laban and told him not. So he was already in Gilead. In the third month, on the 13th. Interesting. All right. So, Book of Haggai. Haggai, however you say it. So, Haggai 1, in the second year of Darius the king, in the 6th month, in the first day of the month, Yahuwah's word came by Haggai the prophet to Zerubbabel, the son of Shealtiel, governor of Yehuda, and to Joshua, the son of Jehozadak, the high priest, saying, This is what Yahuwah of armies says. These people say, the time hasn't yet come, the time for Yahuwah's house to be built. And that's interesting. Keep in mind here, Zerubbabel, son of Shealtiel. Then Yahuwah's word came by Haggai the prophet, saying, Is it time for you yourselves to dwell in your paneled houses, while this house lies waste? Now therefore this is what Yahuwah of armies says, Consider your ways, you have sown much and bring in little. You eat, but you don't have enough. You drink, but you aren't filled with drink. You clothe yourselves, but no one is warm. And he who earns wages to put them into a bag with holes in it. This is what Yahuwah of armies says, Consider your ways, go up to the mountain, bring wood, build the house. I will take pleasure in it, and I will be glorified, says Yahuwah. You looked for much, and behold, it came to little. And when you brought it home, I blew it away. Why, says Yahuwah of armies? Because of my house that lies waste. That's the sanctuary, the temple. While each of you is busy with his own house, therefore for your sake the heavens withhold the dew, and the earth withholds its fruit. I called for a drought in the land, and on the mountains, on the grain, on the new wine, on the oil, on that which the ground produces, on men, on livestock, and on all the labor of your hands. Then Zerubbabel the son of Shealtiel, and Joshua the son of Jehozadak, the high priest, with all the remnant of the people, obeyed Yahuwah their God's voice, and the words of Haggai the prophet, as Yahuwah their God had sent him, and the people feared Yahuwah. Then Haggai, Yahuwah's messenger, spoke Yahuwah's message to the people, saying, I am with you, says Yahuwah. Yahuwah stirred up the spirit of Zerubbabel, the son of Shealtiel, governor of Yehuda, and the spirit of Joshua, the son of Jehozadak, the high priest, and the spirit of all the remnant of the people, and they came and worked on the house of Yahuwah of armies, their God, in the 24th day of the month, in the 6th month, in the second year of Darius the king. So they came and started rebuilding the temple. All right. So here. So in Ezra it says Zerubbabel, son of Shealtiel. Also, nope, let's go down here. Second Ezra's. Here in 2nd Esdras, it gives you the second book of the prophet Esdras, son of Sarias, son of Azarias, son of Hilkias, Sadamas, Zadok, Akitob, Achias, Phinehas, Heli, Amarias, Aziel, Meremoth, Arna, Ozias, Borith, Abisai, Phinehas, Eleazar, Aaron, Levi. So that's the line. Supposedly Esdras is of the line of Zadok. But it says Shealtiel somewhere else. If I could find it. No, Zadok. Well, maybe not. So, going back over here, verse 15. Haggai the prophet to Zerubbabel the son of Shealtiel. So Haggai is the prophet, and to Joshua the son of Jehozadak the high priest. Jehozadak was the high priest. Azarias. Priest and Levite, Zerubbabel son of Shealtiel, Ezra, Zerubbabel son of Shealtiel, governor of Judah. So Shealtiel is the governor of Judah. Joshua the son of Jozadak, the high priest. Joshua son of Jozadak. That's the same time Ezra returned. It looks like Ezra's in the line of Zadok, but it doesn't say. That's weird. Okay. Let's see. Haggai. In the Greek is Haggaius of the tribe of Judah. Okay, so the Greek says Zerubbabel, son of Salathiel of the tribe of Judah, and Jesus, the son of Jehozadak, the high priest, or Joshua. They like using that Jesus name. Interesting. So rebuild the house. Okay, so when you go over here, anybody that uses this, if you click on the next, it says not all scrolls have been translated yet. But if you go back over here, that was chapter 2. Click here, chapter 2, and bam, it brings up chapter 2. So I don't know why. It's a glitch. So Haggai chapter 2, in the 7th month, the 21st day of the month, Yahuwah's word came to Haggai the prophet, saying, so 7th month, speak now to Zerubbabel the son of Shealtiel, governor of Yehudah, to Joshua the son of Jehozadak, the high priest, and to the remnant of the people, saying, who is left among you who saw this house in its former glory? How do you see it now? Isn't it in your eyes as nothing? Yet now be strong, Zerubbabel, says Yahuwah. Be strong, Joshua, son of Jehozadak, the high priest. Be strong, all you people of the land, says Yahuwah, and work, for I am with you, says Yahuwah of armies. This is the word that I covenanted with you when you came out of Egypt, and my spirit lived among you. Don't be afraid, for this is what Yahuwah of armies says. Yet once it is a little while, and I will shake the heavens, the earth, the sea, and the dry land, and I will shake all nations. The precious things of all nations will come, and I will fill this house with glory, says Yahuwah of armies. The silver is mine, the gold is mine, says Yahuwah of armies. Let's see. For the glory of this house shall be great, the latter more than the former, saith Yahuwah Almighty. And in this place will I give peace, saith Yahuwah Almighty, even the peace of soul for possession to everyone that builds, to raise up this temple. In the 24th day of the 9th month, in the 2nd year of Darius, Yahuwah's word came by Haggai the prophet, saying, thus saith Yahuwah Almighty, inquire now of the priest concerning the law, saying, if someone carries holy meat in the fold of his garment, and with his fold touches bread, stew, wine, oil, or any food, will it become holy? The priest answered, no. Then Haggai said, if one who is unclean by reason of a dead body touch any of these, will it be unclean? The priest answers, yes, it will be unclean. Then Haggai answered, so is this people, and so is this nation before me, says Yahuwah, and so is every work of their hands. That which they offer there is unclean. That's interesting. So go over to Enoch. Go down to 80. Yeah, that's not it. Okay, so here's the animal dream vision of Enoch. So here, 89, chapter 89. So, and forthwith I saw, let's see, how the shepherds pastured for 12 hours, and behold, 3 of those sheep turned back and came and entered and began to build up all that had fallen down of that house. But the wild boars tried to hinder them, but they were not able. Esau. And they began again to build as before, and they reared up that tower, and it was named the High Tower, and they began again to place a table before the tower, but all the bread on it was polluted and not pure. That's what I was going to point out there. Unclean. And as touching all this, the eyes of those sheep were blinded, so they saw not, and the eyes of their shepherds likewise. This is the return from captivity. And they delivered them in large numbers to their shepherds for destruction, and they trampled the sheep with their feet and devoured them. And the Lord, Yahuwah of the sheep, remained unmoved till all the sheep were dispersed over the field and mingled with them, in this Messiah. And they did not save them out of the hand of the beast. And this one who wrote the book carried it up and showed it and read it before Yahuwah the sheep, or Yahusha the sheep, and implored him on their account, besought him on their account, as he showed him all the doings of the shepherds, and gave him testimony before him against all the shepherds. And he took the actual book and laid it down beside him and departed. So that which they offer there is unclean. All the bread is polluted. Now please consider from this day and backward, before a stone was laid on a stone in Yahuwah's temple. Through all that time, when one came to a heap of 20 measures, there were only 10. When one came to the wine vat to draw out 50, there were only 20. I struck you with blight, mildew, and hail, and all the work of your hands, yet you didn't turn to me, says Yahuwah. That's one of the curses of the covenant. So some of the curses of the covenant. If I can find it. Yeah, one of the curses of Egypt too. So Deuteronomy 28:22. Let's go to the Dead Sea Scrolls. Yahuwah will strike you with consumption, with fever, with inflammation, with fiery heat, with sword, with blight, and with mildew. They will pursue you until you utterly perish. Struck you with blight, mildew, and hail, and all the work of your hands. Yet you didn't turn to me, says Yahuwah. Consider, please, from this day and backward, from the 24th day of the 9th month, since the day that the foundation of Yahuwah's temple was laid, consider it. Is the seed yet in the barn? Yes, the vine, the fig tree, the pomegranate, and the olive tree haven't produced. From today I will bless you. Say, cursing, confusion. Deuteronomy 28. Your sky that is over your head will be bronze, the earth that is under you will be iron. You will make the rain of your land powder and dust. It will come down on you from the sky until you are destroyed. Yahuwah will cause you to be struck before your enemies. Say 20. Some famine. Sky of brass. That's interesting. We got all these chemtrails up above us now. Dispersed into all the kingdoms of the earth. It's the botch of Egypt. Yahuwah's word. So then he's going to turn and bless. Yahuwah's word came the second time to Haggai on the 24th day of the month, saying, and one little note here, I don't know if anybody knows about it or not, but, and I don't recommend buying it today because it's a Sabbath, but if anybody has not seen this, it's very, very interesting. The Moses Scroll. A Paleo-Hebrew document that matches, well not matches, but it's like hardcover that shows, I think read sample, got a sample here. He goes through and gives the case for this was actually a earlier version of Deuteronomy, or part of Deuteronomy, you know. But he's got a translation of it. He's got a transcription of what they had that's left. Very good stuff. Highly recommend that Moses Scroll. But it's got the blessings and the curses in Deuteronomy instead of just the curses. So. And second time. Speak to Zerubbabel, governor of Yehuda, saying, I will shake the heavens and the earth. I will overthrow the throne of kingdoms. I will destroy the strength of kingdoms of the nations. I will overthrow the chariots and those who ride in them. The horses and their riders will come down, everyone by the sword of his brother. I believe it's in the Gospels and Jeremiah. Yeah, so Matthew 10:21. And brother shall deliver a brother to death. And also, where's it at? Luke 12:53. father divided against son, son against father. Is that it? That's not brother or brother. Brother fight against brother. Where's that at? Mark 13:12. And Isaiah 19:2. So I will side Egyptian against Egyptian, brother fight against brother, neighbor against neighbor, city against city, kingdom against kingdom. That one right there. I thought it was in Jeremiah, but not sure if Jeremiah ties in, but it's interesting that it does say Jeremiah 12 also. In that day, says Yahuwah of armies, I will take you, Zerubbabel, my servant, son of Shealtiel, says Yahuwah, and I will make you as a signet, for I have chosen you, says Yahuwah of armies. So in that day, I will shake the heavens and the earth. I will overthrow the throne of kingdoms. I will destroy the strength of the kingdoms of the nations. That's when he comes back. So that's not the captivity. That didn't happen then. Let's go and finish that. Yep. So that is future tense, future prophecy. Let's pull up Isaiah 19. It's not a very long read of Haggai, so we got some more time to look at some other stuff. Isaiah 19, the burden of Egypt. Behold, Yahuwah rides on a swift cloud and comes to Egypt. The idols of Egypt will tremble in his presence. When does he ride on a cloud? When he returns, he comes on the clouds. The idols of Egypt will tremble in his presence. The heart of Egypt will melt within it. I will stir up the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they will fight everyone against his brother, everyone against his neighbor, and city against city, kingdom against kingdom. The spirit of Egypt will fail within it. I will destroy its counsel. They will seek the idols, the charmers, those who have familiar spirits, and the wizards. I will give over the Egyptians into a hand of a cruel lord or master. A fierce king will rule over them, says Yahuwah, says the master, Yahuwah of armies. The waters will fail from the sea. The river will be wasted and become dry. The rivers will become foul. The streams of Egypt will be diminished and dried up. The reeds and flags will wither away. The meadows by the Nile, by the brink of the Nile, and all the sown fields of the Nile will become dry, be driven away, and be no more. The fishermen will lament, and all those who fish in the Nile will mourn, and those who spread nets on the waters will languish. Moreover, those who work in comb flax and those who weave white cloth will be confounded. The pillars will be broken in pieces. All those who work for hire will be grieved in soul. The princes of Zoan are utterly foolish. The counsel of the wisest counselors of Pharaoh has become stupid. How do you say to Pharaoh? Oh, can't say that word right there. People get offended real easy. How do you say to Pharaoh, I am the son of the wise, the son of ancient kings? Where then are your wise men? Let them tell you now, and let them know what Yahuwah of armies has purposed concerning Egypt. The princes of Zoan have become fools. The princes of Memphis are deceived. They have caused Egypt to go astray. Who are the cornerstone of her tribes? Yahuwah has mixed a spirit of perverseness in the middle of her, and they have caused Egypt to go astray in all of its works. Like a drunken man staggers in his vomit. Neither shall there be any work for Egypt, with which head or tail, palm branch or rush may do. In that day the Egyptians will be like women. They will tremble in fear because of the shaking of Yahuwah of armies' hand, which he shakes over them. Shaking. He comes to, will shake. The land of Yehudah will become a terror to Egypt. Everyone to whom mention is made of it will be afraid because of the plans of Yehudah of armies which he determines against it. In that day there will be 5 cities in the land of Egypt that speak the language of Canaan and swear to Yehudah of armies. One will be called the city of destruction. In that day there will be an altar to Yehudah in the middle of the land of Egypt, and a pillar to Yehudah at its border. It will be for a sign and for a witness to Yehudah of armies in the land of Egypt. For they will cry to Yehudah because of oppressors, and he will send them a savior, and will go down, and he will deliver them. He will go down and deliver them, just like he did the first time. Yehudah will be known to Egypt, and the Egyptians will know Yehudah in that day. Yes, they will worship with sacrifice and offering, and will vow a vow to Yehudah, and will perform it. Isaiah is well after the first Exodus. Yehudah will strike Egypt, striking and healing. They will return to Yehudah, and he will be entreated by them, and will heal them. In that day there will be a highway out of Egypt to Assyria, and the Assyrian shall come into Egypt, and the Egyptian into Assyria, and they will worship with the Assyrians. Why are they doing that? In that day Israel will be a third with Egypt and with Assyria, a blessing within the earth, because Yehudah of armies has blessed them, saying, Blessed be Egypt, my people, Assyria, the work of my hands, and Israel, my inheritance. And that's very interesting. I just went through this last night. No joke. So interesting. Hang on. Praise Yah. He's got perfect timing. It's all for his glory anyways. Isaiah 29. Book is delivered to the one who is not educated, saying, Read this, please. And he says, I can't read. Read this, please. And he said, I can't, for it's sealed. I'm honored with their lips, but their heart is removed far from me. Their fear of me is like a commandment of men. He wants us to do his will, his word. Not what men think is good, what he thinks is good. Where's it at? I think it's 29. Is it 29? Sounds like the train's coming through. Let me see if I can search for it here. Let's see. Syria, Egypt. Yep, Isaiah 19 is coming up. Well, you know, on Isaiah 11:11, hold tight. Be right back. Let's look. So Isaiah 11:11, I'm pretty sure it's 29 too, but let's look. Isaiah 11:11, so here, it would happen in that day that the nations will seek the root of Jesse, who stands as the banner of the peoples, and his resting place will be glorious. It would happen in that day that Yahuwah will set his hand again to second time, to recover the remnant that is left of his people from Assyria and from Egypt. So we see that. That's 29. In that day there will also be a highway out of Egypt to Assyria, and the Assyrians shall come into Egypt, and the Egyptian into Assyria. They will worship with the Assyrians. So it's talking about Israel, not just Egypt and Assyrians. It's the Israelites, the remnant. Isaiah 19. And there's another one. See if I can find it. We'll just roll through it right quick here. So Isaiah, maybe 20. $21. It all kind of, the word kind of meshes together. You'll see him kind of go back and forth with things. Fallen is Babylon. Sure, it was like 29. Let me get my book right quick. Yep. Good stuff. Yep. See if I can find it. Top left corner. See, 20. Tomatoes. 21. 25. Haha, there we go. 27. Alright, sorry. Took me a minute. Alright, Isaiah 27. Yeah, I couldn't mark all this stuff. That's not I couldn't keep up with it if I marked it. So yep, so Isaiah 20, I think right. 27. Interesting, we got Yahuwah and Leviathan. He's killing the dinner for the saints. You got happening that day that a great trumpet will be blown, and those who are ready to perish, that trumpet, there's the trumpet, doo-doo, in the land of Assyria, and those who are outcast in the land of Egypt shall come, and they will worship Yahuwah in the holy mountain at Jerusalem. Who's the outcast in the land of Assyria and Egypt? Israel. It's not Assyria and Egypt, that's Israel. And they will come to Yahuwah in the holy mountain. Verse 13. Yep, that's the end. It's at the end of the chapter. So he will thresh from the flowing stream of the Euphrates to the brook of Egypt. You will be gathered one by one, children of Yisrael. Let's see. 20. Isaiah 19. Yep. So Isaiah 19. Here, in that day, there will be a highway out of Egypt to Assyria, and the Assyrians shall come into Egypt, the Egyptians into Assyria, and they will worship with the Assyrian Israel. In that day, Israel will be a third with Egypt, with Assyria, a blessing within the earth, Jacob, because Yahuwah of armies has blessed them, saying, Blessed be Egypt, my people, and Assyria, the work of my hands, and Israel, my inheritance. It's not talking about Egyptians. It's not talking about Assyrians. It's talking about Egypt, or Israel, scattered into Assyria and into Egypt. If that makes any sense. 24. Somebody might get it. Praise Yah if you do. 20. Ashdod, Sargon. Yep. So here, I'm going to look at Jeremiah. Which one was that? 9? I think it's 9. Yeah, why, let's see. Why has the land perished and burned up like a wilderness so that no one passes through? Yahuwah says, because they have forsaken my law which I set before them and have not obeyed my voice. Same thing. Keeping his commandments is obeying his voice. Breaking his commandments is not obeying his voice. These have walked therein, but have walked after the stubbornness of their own heart and after the Baals which their fathers taught them. Therefore, Yahuwah of armies, the God of Israel, says, Behold, I will feed them, even this people, with wormwood, and give them water of gall to drink. I will scatter them among the nations, whom neither they nor their fathers have known. And I will send the sword after them until I have consumed them. So that's the scattering. What's that other one? Jeremiah? I can't remember. Alright, we'll just go to Ezra. Coming, worship restored in Jerusalem. Yeah, this one worked pretty good. Let's go back. Let's see, whoever people. Ezra chapter 1. Then rose up the heads of the fathers' houses of Yehuda and Benjamin, the priests and the Levites, everyone whose spirit God had stirred to go up to rebuild the house of Yahuwah, which is in Jerusalem, and all who were about them aided them with vessels of silver, with gold, with goods, with beasts, and with costly wares, besides all that was freely offered. Cyrus the king also brought out the vessels of the house of Yahuwah, which Nebuchadnezzar had carried away from Jerusalem and placed in the house of his gods. Cyrus, king of Persia, brought these out in charge of Mithredath, the treasurer, who counted them out to Sheshbazzar, the prince of Yehuda, and this was the number of them: 1,000 basins of gold, 1,000 basins of silver, 29 censers, 30 bowls of gold, 2,410 bowls of silver, and 1,000 other vessels. All the vessels of gold and of silver were 5,469, All these did Sheshbazzar bring up when the exiles were brought up from Babylonia to Jerusalem. So that's brought out of Egypt, brought out of Babylon, brought out of the world. 3 times. But northern kingdom Israel wasn't brought back the second time. Let's see. So, second one. Names all the people. Genealogies. Temple servants. Sons of Solomon servants. Whole assembly. Yep. Good stuff. I'm not going to read through there though. When the 7th month came, the sons of Israel were in the towns. The people gathered as one man to Jerusalem. That's what as one man means. Gathered together. Then arose Yeshua the son of Jehozadak with his fellow priests, and Zerubbabel the son of Shealtiel with his kinsmen. They built the altar of the God of Israel to offer burnt offerings upon it, as is written in the law of Moses, the man of God. So that's why burnt offerings, when he regathers us again, burnt offerings will be instituted again. He likes burnt offerings. It doesn't matter what we like. It doesn't matter what our interpretation. He likes them. That's it. Yeah, he's our sin sacrifice. They set the altar in its place, for fear was upon them because of the peoples of the lands, and they offered burnt offerings upon it to Yahuwah, burnt offering morning and evening. And they kept the feast of booths, as is written, and offered the daily burnt offerings by number according to the ordinance, as each day required. And Abraham was the first to keep the feast of booths in the book of Jubilees, found in the Dead Sea Scrolls, kept as scripture by the temple priests, law of Moses. And after that, the continual burnt offerings, the offering at the new month. So there's the new month festival, not moon, and at all the appointed feasts of Yahuwah, and the offerings of everyone who made a freewill offering to Yahuwah. So there wasn't just sin offerings, freewill offering. From the first day of the 7th month, they began to offer burnt offerings to Yahuwah. But the foundation of the temple of Yahuwah was not yet laid, so they gave money to the masons and carpenters, and food and drink and oil to the Sidonians and the Tyrians, to bring cedar trees from Lebanon to the sea to Joppa, according to the grant which they had from Cyrus king of Persia. Now in the 2nd year of their coming to the house of God at Jerusalem, in the 2nd month, Zerubbabel the son of Shealtiel and Yeshua the son of Jehozadak made a beginning, together with the rest of their brethren, the priests and Levites, and all who had come to Jerusalem from the captivity. They appointed the Levites from 20 years old and upward to have oversight of the work of the house of Yahuwah. And Yeshua with his sons and his kinsmen, and Kadmiel and his sons, the sons of Yehuda, together took the oversight of the workmen in the house of Elohim, along with the sons of Henadad and the Levites, their sons and kinsmen. And when the builders laid the foundation of the temple of Yahuwah, the priests in their vestments came forward with trumpets, and the Levites, the sons of Asaph, with cymbals to praise Yahuwah, according to the directions of David, king of Israel. And they sang responsibly, praising and giving thanks to Yahuwah, for he is good, for his steadfast love endures forever toward Israel. And all the people shouted with a great shout when they praised Yahuwah, because the foundation of the house of Yahuwah was laid. But many of the priests and Levites and heads of fathers' houses, old men who had seen the first house, wept with a loud voice when they saw the foundation of this house being laid, though many shouted aloud for joy, so that the people could not distinguish the sound of the joyful shout from the sound of the people's weeping. For the people shouted with a great shout, and the sound was heard afar. So it was nothing like the first house. Probably pale in comparison. Now when the adversaries of Yehuda and Benjamin heard that the returned exiles were building a temple to Yahuwah, the Elohim of Israel, they approached Zerubbabel and the heads of fathers' houses and said to them, "Let us build with you, for we worship your God as you do, and we have been sacrificing to him ever since the days of Esarhaddon, king of Assyria, who brought us here." But Zerubbabel, now that's interesting. The adversaries of Judah and Benjamin, Esarhaddon brought us here. Now that's just a theory of mine, but the Pharisees and Sadducees, who usurped the authority of the temple and all that, Hasmoneans, all that stuff. I could be wrong, but sure seems like it. Second Kings, Second Kings, First Kings. Kings. Second Kings 17:24. So here, and the king of Assyria brought people from Babylon, Cuthah, Avah, Hamath, Sepharvaim, and placed them in the cities of Samaria, the northern kingdom of Israel, when he took over Israel instead of the people of Israel. And they took possession of Samaria and dwelt in its cities. At the beginning of their dwelling there, they did not fear Yahuwah. Therefore, Yahuwah sent lions among them, which killed some of them. So the king of Assyria was told, the nations which you have carried away and placed in the cities of Samaria do not know the law of the God of the land. Therefore he has sent lions among them, and behold, they are killing them, because they do not know the law of the God of the land. Then the king of Assyria commanded, send there one of the priests whom you carried away thence, and let him go and dwell there, and teach them the law of the God of the land. So one of the priests, whom they had carried away from Samaria, came and dwelt in Bethel, and taught them how they should fear Yahuwah. So when they saw them rebuilding the temple, it's no surprise. Now when the adversaries of Judah and Benjamin heard that the returned exiles were building a temple to Yahuwah, the God of Israel, they approached Zerubbabel and the heads of the fathers' houses and said to them, let us build with you, for we worship your God as you do. So they wanted to help build the temple with them and worship God supposedly as they do. That's the replacements of the northern kingdom. And we have been sacrificing to him ever since the days of Esarhaddon, king of Assyria, who brought us here. So the people that he sent, the people the king sent from these lands, Babylon, Cuthah, Avah, Hamath, Sepharvaim, those people. And we have been sacrificed to him ever since the days of Esarhaddon, king of Assyria, who brought us here. But Zerubbabel, Yeshua, and the heads of the fathers' houses in Israel said to them, you have nothing to do with us in building a house to our God, but we alone will build to Yahuwah, the God of Israel, as King Cyrus, the king of Persia, has commanded us. Then the people of the land discouraged the people of Yehudah and made them afraid to build. The people of the land, who's that? The replacements the king of Assyria sent there, and hired counselors against them to frustrate their purpose all the days of Cyrus, king of Persia, even until the reign of Darius, king of Persia. They hired counselors against them. And in the reign of Ahasuerus, in the beginning of his reign, they wrote an accusation against the inhabitants of Yehudah and Jerusalem. They wrote an accusation. These people right here, they've been doing this for a long time. In the days of Artaxerxes, Bishlam, Mithredath, and Tabeel, the rest of their associates wrote to Artaxerxes, king of Persia. The letter was written in Aramaic and translated. Written in Aramaic. Rahum the commander and Shimshai the scribe wrote a letter against Jerusalem to, and they had scribes. Shimshai the scribe. Matthew 23:2 saying, the scribes and Pharisees sit in Moses' seat. Why do they sit there? Because they eventually took over the temple. wrote a letter against Jerusalem to Artaxerxes the king as follows. Then wrote Raham the commander, Shimshai the scribe, and the rest of their associates, the judges, the governors, the officials, the Persians, the men of Iraq, the Babylonians, the men of Susa, that is, the Elamites, and the rest of the nations whom the great and noble Osnappar deported and settled in the cities of Samaria and the rest of the province beyond the river. And now this is the copy of the letter that they sent to Artaxerxes the king, your servants, the men of the province beyond the river, the placements of the northern kingdom of Israel, usurpers beyond the river, send greeting. And now be it known to the king that the Judeans who came up from you to us have gone to Jerusalem. They are rebuilding that rebellious and wicked city. They are finishing the walls and repairing the foundations. Now be it known to the king that if this city is rebuilt and the wall is finished, they will not pay tribute, custom, or toll, and the royal revenue will be impaired. Now these replacements probably knew about the story of the angel killing 185,000 Assyrians when he came to take Jerusalem. Probably. Now because we eat the salt of the palace, it is not fitting for us to witness the king's dishonor. Therefore we send and inform the king. So they eat the salt of the palace. They don't mind mixing with the Gentiles and pulling the puppet strings. In order that search may be made in the book of the records of your fathers, you will find in the book of the records and learn that this city is a rebellious city, hurtful to kings and provinces, and that sedition was stirred up in it from of old. That was why this city was laid waste. We make it known to the king that if this city is rebuilt and its walls finished, so they say this is why the city was laid. No, it's not. That's not why the city was laid waste. The city was laid waste because they broke God's law. These people don't know what they're talking about. We make it known to the king that if this city is rebuilt and its walls finished, you will then have no possession in the province beyond the river. And also they didn't follow his commandments or his command. The king sent an answer to Raham the commander and Shimshai the scribe and the rest of their associates who live in Samaria. Ho ho! Who live in Samaria? And in the rest of the province beyond the river, greeting. And now the letter which you sent to us has been plainly read before me, and I made a decree, and search has been made, and it's been found that this city from of old has risen against kings, and the rebellion and sedition have been made in it, because they're wicked Gentiles, and mighty kings have been over Jerusalem, who ruled over the whole province beyond the river, to whom tribute, custom, and toll were paid. Therefore make a decree that these men be made to cease, and that this city be not rebuilt until a decree is made by me, and take care not to be slack in this matter. Why should damage grow to the hurt of the king? Then when the copy of King Artaxerxes' letter was read before Raham and Shimshai the scribe and their associates, they went in haste to the Judeans at Jerusalem, and by force and power made them cease. See, they got the king to back them, and they went down there and just, that was none of their business. Then the work on the house of Elohim, which is in Jerusalem, stopped, and it ceased until the second year of the reign of Darius, king of Persia. There's your account right there. Usurpers. Now the prophets Haggai and Zechariah, the son of Iddu, prophesied to Judeans who were in Yehuda and Jerusalem in the name of the God of Israel who was over them. Then Zerubbabel, the son of Shealtiel, and Yeshua, the son of Jozadak, arose and began to rebuild the house of God, which is in Jerusalem, and with them were the prophets of God, helping them. At the same time, Tatani, the governor of the province beyond the river, and Shethar-boznai and their associates came to them and spoke to them thus: Who gave you a decree to build this house and to finish the structure? And they always got to stick their nose in where it don't belong. They also asked them this: What are the names of the men who are building this building? But the eye of their God was upon the elders of the Judeans, and they did not stop them until a report should reach Darius, and then answer be returned by letter concerning it. The copy of the letter which Tatanani, the governor of the province beyond the river, and Shethar-boznai and his associates, the governors who were in the province beyond the river, sent to Darius the king. They sent him a report in which was written as follows: To Darius the king, all peace. Be it known to the king that we went to the province of Yehuda and to the house of the great God. It is being built with huge stones. See, they called him the great God. And timber is laid in the walls. This work goes on diligently and prospers in their hands. Then we asked those elders and spoke to them thus: Who gave you a decree to build this house and to finish this structure? We also asked them their names for your information, that we might write down the names of the men at their head. And this was their reply to us: we are the servants of the God of heaven and earth. We are rebuilding the house that was built many years ago, which a great king of Israel built and finished. But because our fathers had angered the God of heaven, he gave them into the hand of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, the Chaldean, who destroyed this house and carried away the people to Babylonia. However, in the first year of Cyrus, king of Babylon, Cyrus the king made a decree that this house of God should be rebuilt, and the gold and silver vessels of the house of Elohim, which Nebuchadnezzar had taken out of the temple that was in Jerusalem and brought into the temple of Babylon, these Cyrus the king took out of the temple of Babylon, and they were delivered to one whose name was Sheshbazzar, whom he had made governor. And he said to him, take these vessels, go and put them in the temple which is in Jerusalem, and let the house of God be rebuilt on its site. Then this Sheshbazzar came and laid the foundations of the house of Elohim, which is in Jerusalem, and from that time until now it has been in building, and it is not finished. Therefore, if it seemed good to the king, let search be made in the royal archives there in Babylon, to see whether a decree was issued by Cyrus the king for the rebuilding of this house of God in Jerusalem, and let the king send us his pleasure in this matter. And then Darius the king made a decree, and search was made in Babylonia, and the house of the archives where the documents were stored, and in Ecbatana, the capital, which is in the province of Media, book of Tobit, a scroll was found on which it was written, a record. In the first year of Cyrus the king issued a decree concerning the house of God at Jerusalem. Let the house be rebuilt, the place where sacrifices are offered and burnt offerings are brought. Its height shall be 60 cubits, and its breadth 60 cubits, with 3 courses of great stones and 1 course of timber. Let the cost be paid from the royal treasury, and also let the gold and silver vessels of the house of Elohim, which Nebuchadnezzar took out of the temple that is in Jerusalem and brought to Babylon, be restored and brought back to the temple which is in Jerusalem, each to its place. You shall put them in the house of Elohim. Now therefore Tatzenani, governor of the province beyond the river, Shethar-boznai, and your associates, the governors who are in the province beyond the river, keep away. Let the work of this house of God alone. Let the governor of the Judeans and the elders of the Judeans rebuild this house of God on its site. Moreover, I make a decree regarding what you shall do for these elders of the Judeans for the rebuilding of this house of God. The cost is to be paid to these men in full and without delay from the royal revenue, the tribute of the province from beyond the river. He made them pay the tribute to build the temple. Oh, no wonder they were pissed. And whatever is needed, young bulls, rams, or sheep for burnt offerings to the God of heaven, wheat, salt, wine, or oil, as the priests at Jerusalem require. No wonder they usurp the priesthood. Let that be given to them day by day without fail, that they may offer pleasing sacrifice to the God of heaven and pray for the life of the king and his sons. Also I make a decree that if anyone alters this edict, a beam shall be pulled out of his house, and he shall be impaled upon it, and his house shall be made dunghill. So they had to wait a while. They had to be patient. May the God who has caused his name to dwell there overthrow any king or people that shall put forth a hand to alter this, or to destroy this house of God which is in Jerusalem. Now Darius make a decree, let it be done with all diligence. Then according to the word sent by Darius the king, Tattenai, the governor of the province beyond the river, in Samaria, Shethar-boznai and their associates did with all diligence what Darius the king had ordered. And the elders of the Judeans built and prospered through the prophesying of Haggai the prophet and Zechariah the son of Iddo. They finished their building by command of the God of Israel, and by decree of Cyrus and Darius and Artaxerxes, king of Persia. And this house was finished on the 3rd day of the month of Adar, in the 6th year of the reign of Darius the king. And the people of Israel, the priests and the Levites, the rest of the returned exiles, celebrated the dedication of this house with joy. And what's the feast of dedication they celebrate? They say it was Hanukkah. No. Might as well hit that topic while we're here. It's not Hanukkah. Hanukkah's bullcrap. It's more like Judaism, Christmas. John 10:22, it was Jerusalem, the feast of dedication, and it was winter. Yeah. Winter doesn't just cover in December. Dedication. And it tells you in Ezra what the month was, what the timing was. 3rd day of the month of Adar. So Adar. Esther. A lot of times Adar and Esther. Went up to Adar. That's all in Esther. Huh. One time in Ezra and the rest of the times. Anyways, if Esther's correct, and it's the 12th month, which is the month of Adar, so the 12th Hebrew month would be like February, not December. So, and where's it at? So that's the feast of dedication. The Messiah was of the house of God. That's why he was in at the feast of dedication at Jerusalem. And Yahushua walked in the temple in Solomon's porch. He was at the feast of dedication of the temple. For anybody that doesn't know, they offered at the dedication of the house of God 100 bulls, 200 rams, 400 lambs, and as a sin offering for all Israel, 12 he-goats. So these are different offerings here, not sin offerings. See, not sin offerings. One up here. Woo. And as a sin offering, 12 he-goats according to the number of the tribes of Yisrael, separate. And they set the priests in their divisions and the Levites in their courses for the service of God at Jerusalem, as is written in the book of Moses. And on the 14th day of the first month, so look, we're in the 12th month here, Feast of Dedication, and then the 14th day of the first month, the returned exiles kept Passover. So, I'm going to end on that note. So, hope this is a blessing and helpful to you. And if you're keeping Sabbath today, happy Sabbath. Last day of unleavened bread. And, yep. Praise Yah. All glory to Him.